INFJs are known for being gentle, reserved, and kind. They're the type to listen quietly, offer thoughtful advice, and notice things most people miss. But there's something else about them, something deeper that people don't always talk about. The INFJ, while calm on the surface, carries a kind of quiet power. And for some, that's unsettling. In social circles, where many people focus on being seen, heard, or admired, the INFJ does the opposite. They don't try to stand out. They don't chase attention, but their presence is still deeply felt. It's not loud, it's strong. And that strength comes from something deeper than charm or popularity. It comes from awareness, truth, and deep emotional intelligence. This is why INFJs are sometimes feared, not in a loud or obvious way, but in a quiet, powerful one. People can feel it, even if they don't understand it. They may feel exposed, unsure, or even intimidated when the INFJ is near. And often, they don't know why. In this video, we're going to explore 6 real reasons why the INFJ is feared in social groups. These reasons have nothing to do with aggression and everything to do with quiet strength and emotional clarity. Let's begin. Reason number 1. They see through people's motivations. Most people wear a mask in social situations. They try to impress, blend in, or hide something. It's normal. But INFJs are the type to see right through those masks. They don't just hear what someone says, they feel what they mean. And that makes people nervous. This isn't magic. It's intuition mixed with observation. The INFJ notices small details. Tone of voice, hesitation, body language, eye movement, and emotional energy. They take in all of that information at once and make quiet connections. It's not always conscious. It's not always logical. But it's accurate and people feel it. This ability to read others isn't always welcome. People who have hidden motives, who lie, manipulate, or fake their way through social life, don't want to be seen. And yet the INFJ sees them. Without trying. Without confrontation. Just with presence. That silent knowing can be deeply unsettling. It might show up in small ways. The INFJ pauses before answering a question. They give a neutral look when someone is bragging. They say nothing when someone is clearly pretending. But in that silence, people feel exposed. They realize the INFJ isn't fooled. That alone can create tension. The INFJ doesn't need to call anyone out. Their stillness speaks loud enough. Just being around someone who sees through games can make people feel threatened, even if the INFJ says nothing at all. Some people avoid INFJs because of this. They say things like, "I don't know what it is, I just feel uncomfortable around them." What they're really saying is, "I can't hide around this person." This fear is even stronger in people who rely on charm or manipulation. These people are used to controlling the room. They expect others to play along. When the INFJ doesn't play, it throws them off. They realize their usual tricks don't work. And that's a kind of power the INFJ didn't ask for, but still holds. Even people with good intentions can feel uneasy. They might sense that the INFJ sees more than they let on. And if they're not ready to face their own flaws or truths, that awareness can be scary. The INFJ doesn't do this to hurt anyone. It's just how they're built. They value honesty, clarity, and emotional depth. And when someone's actions don't match their words, the INFJ sees the gap and quietly takes note. In social groups, this makes the INFJ hard to fool. People know that what they say around the INFJ might be remembered, noticed, or understood in ways they didn't expect. That's not fear of harm, it's fear of being seen too clearly. Reason number 2. They speak truth with calm authority. Most people expect strength to come with volume. They expect a loud voice, a bold personality, or someone who dominates the room. INFJs don't show strength that way. But when they speak up, especially in serious moments, people stop and listen. INFJs don't speak often in groups. They usually let others talk, watching and listening from the sidelines. But when they do decide to say something, their words carry weight. That's because they've been paying attention. They don't speak just to fill space. They speak with purpose. And when that truth comes out, calm, clear, and without anger, it hits hard. Some people find this deeply unsettling. They're not used to being called out without being yelled at. They're not used to someone saying exactly what they're thinking, but doing it without any drama. The INFJ doesn't need to raise their voice. They just tell the truth, and that truth often leaves people speechless. This isn't about being harsh. INFJs care deeply, and they're sensitive to how others feel. But that doesn't stop them from saying what needs to be said. And when they finally do, it often changes the mood of the entire room. That's a rare kind of power. In social circles, this makes the INFJ unpredictable. People never know when they'll speak up, but when they do, it usually shifts the entire dynamic. That creates a quiet kind of fear. The fear of being called out by someone who actually knows what's going on. The INFJ's truth also sticks. It's not loud, but it lingers. People remember what they said. They think about it later. They feel it days after. And for those who are used to getting away with false confidence or shallow charm, that kind of truth is uncomfortable. Even when the INFJ doesn't speak directly to someone, their words can still hit home. They may make a general comment that applies perfectly to someone's hidden guilt or secret behavior. And that person realizes they know. INFJs don't aim to scare people, but when they stop holding back and start speaking truth with calm authority, they command a kind of respect and fear that few people ever expect. Reason number 3, they don't tolerate nonsense. Most people know how to play the social game. Laugh at the right moments. Smile when annoyed. Stay quiet to avoid conflict. But INFJs don't play that game forever. They might at first, just to keep the peace. But once they see a pattern of disrespect, fakeness, or drama, they stop pretending. And when they do, people feel it. INFJs may be calm, but they have boundaries. Strong ones. They just don't announce them with loud warnings or big reactions. They draw the line quietly, and once it's crossed, they don't look back. They remove themselves from conversations that waste their energy. They distance themselves from people who don't respect their time. This refusal to play along is what unsettles others. Social circles are often built on unwritten rules. Tolerate the loud one, laugh at the rude joke, ignore the shady behavior. But the INFJ sees through all of it and chooses not to join in. When someone is being fake, the INFJ doesn't argue. They just go quiet. When a group starts gossiping, the INFJ listens once, then stops coming around. They won't call it out with drama, but they won't tolerate it either. They simply pull away. And that pulling away makes people uncomfortable, especially those who are used to controlling group dynamics. They start to notice that the INFJ isn't around as much, that they're no longer laughing at the same jokes or agreeing with the same stories. And they wonder why. The answer is simple. The INFJ doesn't have time for nonsense. They value truth, kindness, and peace. They don't need fake friendship or social games to feel included. In fact, they prefer being alone over being in a space that feels fake. People who thrive on attention, gossip, or manipulation often fear this kind of quiet refusal. They can't guilt the INFJ into staying. They can't charm them back. Once the INFJ sees the nonsense, they shut the door, and they do it without a scene. This makes them powerful in a way that doesn't look aggressive but still holds a strong impact. The INFJ doesn't seek control, but they don't hand theirs over either. They simply choose peace. And in social groups, where control matters more than connection, that choice is feared. Reason number 4, They observe while others talk. In most social settings, people talk to be heard. They tell stories, share opinions, and fill the space. That's how most people connect. But the INFJ is different. While others talk, they observe. And they don't just hear the words, they see what's underneath them. This habit of watching and listening makes people nervous. Because while others are distracted by conversation, the INFJs picking up the details most ignore. They notice when someone laughs too loudly to hide discomfort. They catch the glance someone gives when a name is mentioned. They pick up on voice tone, body posture, and tension in the air. They remember who stayed silent when things got tense. And they remember who changed the subject when something honest was said. All of this goes into the INFJ's quiet mental notebook. They may not react in the moment. They may keep smiling or stay silent. But they're always taking it in. Always analyzing. Always connecting the dots. This makes others uneasy. Not because the INFJ is judging, but because they're clearly paying attention. And most people aren't used to being seen so clearly. In group conversations, INFJs rarely interrupt. They don't fight to be the loudest voice. Instead, they watch how people react. Who needs to dominate? Who backs down? Who fakes confidence? Who speaks with tension? It's like watching a play, except the INFJ is watching the actors forget they're on stage. Sometimes the INFJ will share what they've noticed. And when they do, it lands hard. They'll bring up a detail from weeks ago, or point out a truth someone thought was hidden. And just like that, people realize this quiet person knows more than they let on. Even without speaking, the INFJ's presence carries pressure. It's not the pressure of control, it's the pressure of being noticed, of being seen. People who depend on being misunderstood don't like this. They feel exposed. People who lie or bend the truth don't like it either. Because they know the INFJ is probably storing every word and waiting to see if the story matches up later. This kind of observation isn't aggressive. It's steady. It's honest. And it's very hard to escape. In a group where everyone wants attention, the one who stays quiet and sees everything is the one they fear the most. Not because they say too much, but because they say exactly what's needed, exactly when it matters. Reason number 5. They build loyalty quietly. NFJs don't gather followers or build popularity the way some do. They don't charm crowds or win people over with loud confidence. Instead, they build loyalty slowly and quietly. And once they have it, people feel it. This type of loyalty makes others take notice. In a room full of people fighting to be liked, the INFJ already has something deeper: trust. The kind that doesn't need to be shown off. The kind that makes others turn to them when things get serious. They earn this trust by listening, remembering, and showing up. They're not flashy. They're consistent. When someone talks, the INFJ pays attention. When someone is hurting, the INFJ notices. And when someone needs support, the INFJ shows up quietly, without needing credit. People remember that. So even if the INFJ doesn't speak much in a group, others respect them. Even if they don't lead loudly, others still follow their calm example. This creates influence that doesn't look like power, but feels like it. And that subtle influence can make others uneasy, especially those who are used to gaining attention through force or performance. They realize the INFJ doesn't need any of that to be respected. The INFJ doesn't chase loyalty. They earn it by being real. They don't ask for loyalty in return. But when people stand by them, it's strong, quiet, unshakable. That kind of respect can't be faked. And in social circles, where people compete for validation, the INFJ's steady influence stands out, and sometimes it's feared. Reason number 6. They stay independent and self-assured. NFJs may be quiet, but they aren't weak. They may avoid the spotlight, but they don't follow the crowd. Deep down, INFJs are self-assured in a way that few people understand, and that's exactly what makes others nervous. In most social circles, people look around before they speak. They wait to see what others think before forming their own opinion. But INFJs don't need that kind of approval. They've already thought things through on their own. When they speak, it comes from within, not from a need to be accepted. This independence is subtle. INFJs don't brag or act like they're better than anyone else. But people feel it. They sense that the INFJ doesn't need their approval, that they're comfortable being different, that they're okay standing alone if something doesn't feel right. And that makes people uncomfortable, especially those who get their confidence from fitting in. The INFJ can sit quietly while everyone else talks. They can leave a group without feeling guilty. They can disagree calmly without trying to win anyone over. This kind of grounded presence throws off people who expect everyone to follow the same social cues. Others start to wonder, why aren't they trying harder? Why don't they care what we think? But the truth is, INFJs do care. They just don't need outside validation to feel whole. This level of self-trust can come off as mysterious. Some may even call it intimidating. Because when someone walks through the world sure of who they are, it highlights all the ways others are unsure of themselves. INFJs also don't play status game. They don't flatter the loudest voice in the room. They don't adjust their opinions to match whoever has the most influence. They stay true to their values even when no one agrees. And that quiet resistance to peer pressure stands out. In social circles where blending in is the rule, the INFJ's calm independence breaks the pattern. People often fear what they don't understand. And the INFJ's steady self-assurance makes it clear they are not here to impress. They're here to live honestly, with or without approval. That kind of presence doesn't shout, but it still shakes the room. The INFJ isn't feared because they're aggressive. They're feared because they're real. In a world full of noise, they listen. In a room full of talk, they observe. In a circle full of approval seekers, they stand grounded. And that quiet, steady presence can feel powerful, even threatening, to those who rely on surface-level control. From seeing through hidden motives to speaking truth without force, from setting strong boundaries to building deep loyalty, the INFJ shifts the energy in any social setting. Not by trying, but simply by being fully themselves. Some people will misunderstand this. Others will feel exposed by it. But those who truly get it will feel something else entirely: respect. INFJs don't show off their strength. But make no mistake, it's there. And once people realize it, they know this is not someone to underestimate. That's why the INFJ is feared in every social circle. Not because they demand power, but because they carry it quietly, and it changes everything.